Good day, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Military and Foreign Affairs Network. I am your host, the voice of reason. Today, we are continuing our ongoing coverage of the Russia Ukrainian war. So, what is happening right now on the ground is the Ukrainian forces are trying to encircle Russian forces inside the city of Liman, located in this area here. So you can kind of see the lines, and you can see the city of the town city of Liman right here. So heavy fighting going on here. Now you have the Ukrainians pushing northeast of Liman with the goal of pushing up, taking and trying to take the town of Makivka here, or pressing up and severing the P66 highway that runs kind of north-south here. So this is one objective here. This is a road junction. And then further south, you have Ukrainian forces trying to drive north, south to north, in the direction of Kreminna. So if the Ukrainians are able to seize control of Kreminna, sever this roadway, and push in the north towards Makivka here, that's going to cut off Russian forces inside of Liman, outside of only the Russians being able to air mobile supplies into those Russian forces. And that's right now the big concern for Russian forces, and that is what the Ukrainians are trying to do in terms of defeating the Russians. Right now, the all eyes right now on Liman, and then eventually it looks like the Ukrainians are trying to push and have the ability to come down and attack Severodonetsk from the north. So again, you would have an easterly an attack, and then possibly an attack down the P66 here into Severodonetsk from the north as well. But very heavy fighting is taking place as the Russian forces withdrew from this Kharkov area. Their force density has increased, and now with this mobilization, we'll probably see we will see additional Russian forces being deployed to the front. And then the question is just, again, how many Russian forces are going to be deployed? How long is it going to take for the Russians to deploy those forces? Is the mobilization going to be successful? How much disenchantment will there be because of the mobilization? Difficult to say. I think right now the West may be overemphasizing the protests that are happening. Obviously, there are certainly a lot of Russians trying to get out of Russia. Those individuals would probably have attempted to avoided military service anyway. And it's estimated right now that as many as 300,000 Russians are fleeing because of the mobilization efforts. But you got to understand, Russia has 140 million plus people, and the ability to mobilize is certainly there. I mean, obviously, they were able to do it during World War II. And, what does this look like 3 months from now, 6 months from now? Difficult to say. But the capability is definitely there. I don't believe that the Russian military is putting these conscripted forces through one day of training and then throwing them into the meat grinder. Don't think that's happening. They're going to have to train these guys up. They're going to have to at least go through 4 to 8 weeks at minimum military refresher training. Many of these guys are simply not in condition, or may not be in fighting condition, so they're going to have to be reconditioned, and they're going to have to go through training, and that's going to take some time. And my guess is anywhere from 90 days to 6 months this could look a lot different than what it looks like now. And it does appear, again, Russia's committed to this. They are just not stopping this war. It is going to continue, and it's not going to stop. Now, will we see an escalation? I've talked about before the threat, the possibility of tactical nuclear weapons. It is omnipresent and will be so probably for some time unless this were to end somehow. But I think it's a continued possibility that that needs to be looked at, especially with what's happening down here in Kherson. Obviously, this position has not been resolved as of yet. The Ukrainians are continuing to push the Russians in or on the western bank of the Dnieper River. And we'll just see how this ends up working out. We do know the Russians reinforced it at the expense of operations near Kharkov. So it looks like, at least right now, they've shored things up on the western bank of the Dnieper River, and there's still fighting, heavy fighting going on, obviously, in the east as well. And right now, it's the focus on Liman in this area. And we'll have to watch if the Ukrainians are successful in moving up here, cutting the P-66 or seizing control of Makivka and Krimina down here in the south, and watching these areas very, very closely and seeing what happens. Again, if that were to occur, these Ukrainian lines were to push here and here, then those Russian forces in this salient could be at risk. But again, let's see what happens. The Russians are reinforcing. The Ukrainians are reinforcing. We're hearing that Ukrainians are now moving reserve forces that were designed to defend Kiev. They are now moving those forces towards the eastern front lines near Izum and other areas as well. So interesting to see. That would mean that right now the Ukrainians don't believe there is any threat from the direction of Belarus re-threatening Kiev at this point. And they're able to reposition forces, again, across the Dnieper River. And this is where we're seeing that lack of Russian interdiction capability come into play. At the onset of this conflict, I would have to say I was relatively confident that the Russian Air Force, while maybe not gaining air supremacy in western Ukraine, would have been able to conduct interdiction mission and prevent Ukrainian forces from crossing the Dnieper River. And we've not seen that. And I think the status quo will continue in the east until either A, the Russians reinforce massively and are ready for some sort of winter offensive or post-winter offensive, or they figure out the air game. And right now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And I think we'll continue to see kind of a status quo on the ground as long as the Russians are allowing the Ukrainians to continue to reinforce the eastern bank of the Dnieper River. But that's where we sit today. Again, thanks for joining us. More to come, and as we continue to cover this war. Again, more to come. Thanks for joining us. Have a good day.